Hello, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram fam. Welcome, welcome. It is Thursday night. I had to think about it. There's a lot of interviews this week. So Thursday night, 6 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock their time, and whatever time it is, wherever y'all are at. Here tonight with, of course, my lovely co-host, Kat. And in the middle, we have Southern Gothic's Connor Christian with us. He has done the Instagram takeover all day long, so I'm sure y'all have probably already gotten to know him a little bit. But he is going to be with us for the next hour. We're going to learn about him and Southern Gothic and hear some songs. One that is going to be released tomorrow. So it's been a bit of a crazy week for you, huh, Connor?
Yeah. We were just talking about that before we got started. It's been a few years since I've had to do the my album's coming out this week dance, and it was like it was a lot.
Yeah, it is. I didn't realize it until this year when I started working with an artist how crazy release week was, and I was like, wow, I never realized there was so much that went into putting out one song. Much less an EP or a full album, just one song. It was crazy. But I mean, it's in the middle of all the craziness. It is so exciting.
It is. And, sometimes during this, it sort of felt like, you had a bit of a captive audience. Everybody was stuck in place, and they're like, all right, so what do you got? I know I watched a lot of my favorite artists and kind of like what they did during this time, and helped me kind of inform what I wanted to do and how I wanted to get there and everything else. So it's been weird, it's been wild, and it's like everything's new again, as it is every few years in the music business. So yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and kick off the show with a song from you, and then we'll just get down to getting to know you a little bit better.
All right. I'll do one. I'm going to do all my songs from the EP today. This one's called Up on Your Love.
All right.
It's a girl that's ain't a drunk text. Hell, I ain't even drunk yet. I ain't looking for a late night kiss. There's a little bit more to this, so if you're coming over, baby, stay over. 'Cause I know right where I wanna be lying. When that first light hits the horizon, you're like a hummingbird singing the song outside of the window. That Sunday morning sunrise kissing the pillow. You're that smile that opens up my eyes, and I can't get enough of waking up on your love. Waking up on your love. To you with no makeup, wearing nothing but your hair up. Well, I'm wide awake and thinking about what you might be dreaming. Girl, I can't sleep when you're next to me. But every little minute, I don't want to miss it. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. You're like that hummingbird singing the song outside of the window. That Sunday morning sunrise kissing the pillow. You're that smile that opens up my eyes, and I can't get enough of waking up on your love. Waking up on your love. Oh, yeah. We can lay with each other till the shadows disappear. But when the moon goes down, I wanna be right here, waking up on your love. Waking up on your love. Hope you like that hummingbird singing a song outside of the window. Hey, that Sunday morning sunrise kissing the pillow. You're that smile that opens up my eyes, and I can't get enough of waking up on your love. Waking up on your love. So, oh, I'm waking up on your love. Waking up on your love.
All right. Couldn't get my mute button undone. Sorry.
All right.
I love that.
Thank you.
Love that. Definitely country with some rock, folk,
Yeah, all of that.
soul.
Yeah, everything. Jim Croce, as much as Eli Young Band, as much as the band Live from the '90s. All of that stuff.
Yeah.
All the stuff that I grew up listening to. Sam Cooke for sure. Whatever.
Yeah.
All that stuff that made me, want to do this, want to be this. Try to bring it with me. And.
Yeah, for sure. I can hear all of that in there. And I love that. That's one that just definitely makes you want to move. You can't sit still listening to that.
Thank you.
And that's what you want, right?
That's what I want.
All right. Got to know, where did the name Southern Gothic come from? Because it just doesn't, Southern I get, Gothic, not so much. I mean, you don't look Gothic. You don't in the typical, definition of the word.
Well, to be fair, that's like a super new definition of that word. That's like past 10 years. I mean, one of the most famous, paintings in American history is an American Gothic with, the couple with the pitchfork. And, growing up and especially late high school, college, really, the kind of books I read, like my favorite kind of literature was Southern Gothic literature. Whether it was Harper Lee or Tennessee Williams or Flannery O'Connor or books like authors Anne Rice. Books like in the Garden. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. I was having trouble coming up with it. That stuff all sort of falls under that Southern Gothic literature.
Right.
Umbrella. And that was really, we made a record. We used to be called the Morning Star Revival. And as it turns out, there was another act called that, and, had copyrights and all that stuff. And so we made a record, though, back in the days of Connor Christian and the Morning Star Revival. And it was called A Southern Gothic. And
Okay.
So when it came time to change our name, one of the guys, I don't even know who, one of the guys in the band was like, well, what if we just call it, Connor Christian and A Southern Gothic? And that A Southern Gothic was tough to say. So we just said Connor Christian and Southern Gothic. And then eventually even that was still a lot of words. So we just brought it down to the Southern Gothic. And,
Right.
at the time we felt like it, especially, like the last record, it really kind of encapsulated the stories that I'd been telling, and now, and even as we've sort of taken a sonic shift, in one direction, I still feel like that, I bring that sort of Southern tradition of storytelling. Of course, tradition as old as people, but just the stuff that I'd, grown up really reading and being interested in, and, hoping that I could find those people, that would be interested in the stories that I had to tell too.
Yeah, I can definitely see it from that aspect. As long as you're looking at it from a literature art aspect, you can definitely see it that way. If you're thinking of, like you said, modern time Gothic, it's definitely not that.
It didn't occur to us, honestly. And then later, everybody was very confused, especially when we were Connor Christian and Southern Gothic. So so are you like
Christian and Gothic?
Marilyn Manson? What's the deal? And we're like, no to all. No to So, but at that point,
That's funny.
we were in too deep. It was too late to change course on the name.
That is funny. Oh my God. I caught myself saying, Kat says, that's so funny all the time. And I'm like, Kat, quit saying that so much. And here I just said it. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah. When I first came across you, or I think, I'm drawing a mind blank right now.
Rachel.
I don't know if it's your publicist or manager that emailed me.
Yeah.
And when I first saw the name, I was like, Southern Gothic? Okay, this might not be for Route 66 or not. And then when I listened to your music, I was like, dang, yeah, okay, yeah, this is good.
Cool. Well,
yeah.
Well, I'm so glad glad it worked out. So glad that we could make this all happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. It just goes by that old saying, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a band by their name.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because they will definitely surprise you. So that is a really cool thing about y'all, though, because people would be thinking, possibly like I am, that's not familiar with you yet, and, wondering what they're going to get. And it's a very pleasant surprise that, it's not some dark, heavy metal Marilyn Manson type stuff. It's that,
right.
I could just see it, it's, cross between Marilyn Manson growing up in Alabama or something.
Right. Well, he did kind of grow up in the middle of nowhere, Ohio. But it's funny. Way back when we, like, the origin of this band, I had been in a lot of other people's bands, mostly because they had a record deal and I didn't, and they offered me a gig, and I said, I'll be there. But then, when I first started my own band, really to avoid working a job, we decided to be a cover band, and it didn't take us any time at all. And we were doing, 150, 200 shows a year. And the cover bands that were most in need back then were kind of the 90s, like hard rock, bands like Rage Against the Machine and Smashing Pumpkins and Marilyn Manson. So honestly, that's what we started off playing in this band was, also like the, Pearl Jams of the world, all Oasis, all the 90s stuff. But it was a confluence of, that's what a lot of these clubs were interested in. And that was the stuff that I learned to play, because that's when I was a teenager and learning to play guitar, so I already knew. So it was really easy to just, jump up and, find a band at the spur of the moment. So that was how Sean and I met, the drummer of Southern Gothic. He and I met doing, I lost a drummer and I needed somebody that could learn all the songs that week. It's like, we got,
oh, wow.
Quit after the gig Saturday night, and we had gigs on Thursday. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was a scramble, and man, he showed up, and he rocked it, and we've been playing together for 16 years now. So,
heck yeah, you hang on to somebody that's like that.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, and just goes to show you, be ready for your audition when the time comes. It goes a long way.
Exactly. So, how did you go from the rock to country?
So, we never wanted to be in a cover band. As a matter of fact, after I got off tour with, believe it or not, a hip hop band that had hired me, some dudes I knew from high school that got a record deal, and they brought me on to like be the singer / other rapper, because their main rapper didn't do melody.
Okay, rock, does hip hop and rap and country.
Well,
there's a genre that you can't do.
That was somebody else's. I'm sure there is. I hope they would hang out. I'm gonna stick with what I'm doing now. But so anyway, coming out of that. Coming out of that band, and going into, okay, what do I want to be? And it was the first time I'd ever really had the opportunity to think about, what do I want to be? Because I'd always been in somebody else's band, in high school. I was always very committed to being in bands, which maybe led me to be a little bit ahead of the curve of people my age. So I was always playing with people a few years older. When I was 12, I was playing with the 15-year-old band. When I was 16, I was playing with the 21-year-olds. When I was 18, I was playing with the 30-year-olds that were like on tour and doing stuff.
Yeah.
So, consequently, it was always somebody else's band. So this was the first time when we were in the cover band that I had a second to stop and think, what am I about? And what do I want to do? And I made a record, and it was kind of early attempts at songwriting for me. Of course, I'd been in these other like rock bands and whatever. And, I wrote songs, but this was my first attempt at like writing a song that could stand on its own without like a rock band in it, as I found the things that were inspiring me, it was, that first record was kind of throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. And most of it didn't, but there was a couple of songs. The stuff that had been really inspiring me at the time was, the band and early Elton John stuff. And so that's what I was writing. Meanwhile, we're playing this heavy music. And so we did 3 sets a night, most nights. And we started by saying, okay, we're going to add 2 of our originals in each set, space them apart, put them in the right places. And if anybody asks, we're just going to say, oh, that's by the band. That's by, we just, and we straight up lied. Like we said, our songs were by whoever I thought they would, this person would accept, whoever was asking, and then eventually as people started like digging it and hearing it week after week, then I finally was like comfortable enough saying, hey, we're going to play one of our songs. And once we did that, once we started like saying, okay, these are our songs and we're playing these, within about a year, we went from playing two songs per set of ours to doing, like 70% originals. And consequently, all those songs weren't good. So, I was still early in my songwriting phase. Yeah. So, what can you do? But even so, it really like that got me, like my sea legs under me, like made my confidence in my own stuff. Again, I'd written lyrics for all sorts of like rock bands and hip hop bands and whatever up to this point, but this is the first time I've had to like write the music and the melody and the lyrics and bring it all together in a way to try and, engage you, try and bring you into the fold. So that was, it was a long learning curve from, 2002 when that started through, 2006 when we really sort of kind of like solidified. We made a Southern Gothic, that record. And that was, the first time we brought in a fiddle player and a banjo player for a couple of songs and really sort of explored that space that, maybe having been in a rock band, we were a little nervous to explore because, we're like, are these people coming with us? Do I have to start all over again with no fans and, right. Go, so that's how it happened. It happened slowly. And, even between, the first record that Southern Gothic made, which was 90 Proof Lullabies, that was 2009. And then our next, big release was in 2013. Even so, we actually recorded most of those songs in 2009 and 2010, and with the plan to release them ourselves. And then, record companies got involved and got pushed back and back and back. And so we'd been playing those songs by the time the record came out in 2013 for years. And the difference between what people heard, like Sheets Down and Bound for Glory and 16 Bars and all the stuff that people were really into then, and the stuff that I was writing, it was a pretty big gulf. So, so it was like your delay here. Everybody was hearing it 3 years late. And in like 10 seconds, she'll get that. So, so there it is, right? That's good.
Hear instantaneously.
Oh, well, that's good. But yeah. Well, anyway, it was a delay for people, and so when you're talking about this record, a lot of people feel like between New Hometown and this record, it's a big sonic difference, and it for sure is. Yeah. But, it's not an overnight thing, that we recorded those songs 10 years ago. So even if it, came out a lot more recently than that, So this, this is a change that's been slowly happening, to me as a songwriter over a decade. And yeah.
Cool. So do you do all the songwriting for the band?
I work with a lot of other people.
Co-write
with a lot of people, but I don't know that we've ever done a song that that wasn't a cover that I wasn't involved in. And a lot of them, especially in New Hometown, a lot of that record, that was just me and a guitar, or me and a piano wrote all those tunes, and the other half I had some help with, or there was a couple of covers on there as well. So out of the 20 songs, I think I wrote 11 of those by myself.
Wow. Yeah. And that's the key to getting better at the songwriting, is just over and over and over again. And the better and better you get, the more and more you write.
Yeah. There's not much more to it than that, right?
So I hear. I am, this is as musical as I get as far as my talent goes. Can't sing, can't play an instrument. I've never tried to write. I don't know if I could or not, but probably, maybe, I don't know. But we'll just leave it to the professionals. I can talk well, so I'll just continue doing this.
Well, and obviously it's tough to do, what I do without somebody to help amplify it, and that's a huge part of the process for artists too. So, without people like y'all, that's that many less people paying attention to what we're doing. So, thanks for what you're doing, and don't ever downplay it. I mean, it's important.
Oh, we have fun doing it. So that's what matters. It's fun. I love giving, you guys a platform for your voice and your music. And hey, if it helps a little bit and we're having fun in the process, it's all worth it.
There you go.
Every bit worth it. Yeah. So you play the guitar, you play the piano. Any other instruments?
I can like fake it on a lot of other stuff, on the drums or on mandolin or on maybe banjo a little bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't like take a gig in somebody's band doing that stuff.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want me in your band as the banjo player, the drummer. But, if I'm at an open jam, someone needs a drummer for 2 songs, like that's my perfect drummer gig.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to do 2 songs that I know really well. Yeah, let's do that. People think I'm awesome. Those are like 2 of the only 3 songs I know. It's great.
Yeah. All right. That's cool. So did you start with the guitar or the piano first?
Definitely the guitar. I started with the guitar maybe about 12 years old, something like that, like really kind of taking it seriously. And, I think I did my first gig I started my first band in like 6th grade. So I did a couple gigs that were just, playing in little kid rock bands and just as the singer. But I think I was 13 maybe when I did my first gig, just me and a guitar, doing that thing. So, we got company.
Oh, I love cats.
Yeah, he loves him too.
So cute.
He gets his claws stuck in anything. And
yeah, for sure.
Hanging by a thing and looks like he's being abused. It makes me look bad. So so I started on guitar, and then I don't know, maybe 23 or 20. Yeah, 23. I got my first piano, and
wow.
The learning curve was much shorter on the piano. Everything made much more sense. I think I'm pretty mathematically minded, and just to be able to see the pattern in front of me, it made infinitely more sense than a guitar. And so, guitar, I knew the chords, and that was memory. On the piano, it was like instinctual to a degree. Not to say that I'm a great piano player, but to like get the basics took me very little time on the piano versus how long it took me to get, to competency on guitar.
Wow. I'm just impressed by anybody that plays more than one instrument, because I can't play one. So impressive.
I'm constantly amazed by people that can play one instrument really well, because I play a lot of instruments. Like, I play the piano and guitar, like, I'm solid, or whatever. But then guys like Quinn and Yanni in my band. They're both such incredible guitar players. Quinn's also an amazing drummer, but he plays bass in the band. So he does everything. He does everything better than I do. So I'm always jealous of people that are just like masters of their instrument. Rather than spreading it around. And, Yanni, our guitar player, he only plays guitar. When he joined the band, I was like, "Hey, can you play piano on a couple songs?" He's like, "Nope." I'm like, "You're amazing, guitar player. You don't play any piano?" He's like, "Nah. I tried it once, didn't like it." Cool.
All right.
But I don't know, I don't know any guitar players as good as Yanni Reineke, man. That guy wails, and it doesn't matter what kind of music or what guitar he has, or he'll just MacGyver something together for your song, and you're just like, "Oof, buddy."
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love listening to someone that just gets lost when they're playing their guitar. That just is so into it. They seriously just look like they're in another world somewhere. And you can just like see it on their face when they're playing, that they're just so into it. That's when I get heavily invested in listening to them when they're like that. It just blows me away.
Yeah. It's amazing to see, just somebody get lost in their instrument. I have a video that I post every Christmas. I got invited to this venue was having a Christmas party for their employees and for like some local people, and it was a music venue. And I walked in, and there was a band playing, and Santa Claus was on stage, and he was just destroying this guitar, just shredding. And this was not a fake beard. Like, this guy had a white long beard, but he was very Santa, like 100% Santa suit on, but it just like was ripping it up. So that's my Christmas video every year from now till infinity, till I see another Santa ripping it up on the piano or something.
That would be cool. I'll have to be on the lookout for that.
Guitar shredder moments. That was just like, oh my God, Santa's killing it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of concerts that I go to, that's like my favorite moment, whenever the guitarist gets his solo and just goes at it. And I'm just like, yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm here. I love the music part as much as I do the lyrics. So I love all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right. You want to play us another one?
Oh yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
So I need to tune this guy up. So while I'm tuning, I'll tell you a little bit about this one. So when I wrote this one, I wrote this with Quinn, our bass player, who I was just talking about a moment ago, and our buddy Trafton Harvey. Come on, tune our work. As I was driving to the right that day, I was listening to Maren Morris. All these tuners are out of batteries, of course. Close enough. So I was driving to the right, and I was listening to that first Maren Morris record. Nope, this way. I forgot it's backwards. And she's got a song called "I Wish I Was," and it's all about this guy who's in love with her, and he's a great guy, but she just doesn't feel it like that, and and it really got me thinking about, somebody said once, or I heard somewhere one time, that it's like, as much as you look at yourself as the hero, sometimes you got to just come to grips with the fact that you're the villain in somebody else's story. So, I got to thinking about that, and she was talking about not being a hero, and, started thinking about being a villain. And sometimes, when there's going to be a breakup, then, there's going to be a villain. Somebody's got to be it. And, that's what this one's about.
All right.
Realized I was about to do this thing in the wrong key. All right, here we go. You know we're over, baby. Why can't you let it go? We keep starting over and it's really starting to take its toll. I wanna see you smiling, even if it ain't with me. Don't wanna be the bad guy, but maybe that's what I gotta be. Tried to be your hero, tried to be your Superman. Honey, if I can't love you, then maybe there's someone else that can. If it takes me losing just so you can end up winning. If you need someone to take the blame, girl, I'll be your villain. I'll be your villain. Love ain't a railroad track, I'm trying to tie you down. But how can we start moving on if you keep stopping by my house? Wish we were like a movie with a happy end. But this is real life, baby, and we ain't getting it back again. Tried to be your hero, tried to be your Superman. Honey, if I can't love you, then maybe there's someone else that can. If it takes me losing just so you can end up winning. If you need someone to take the blame, girl, I'll be your villain. Oh yeah, I'll be your villain. Wish we could treat a dead end like an endless road. Honey, I can't help but love you. That's why I gotta let you go. Tried to be your hero, tried to be your Superman. Honey, if I can't love you, then maybe there's someone else that can. If it takes me losing just so you can end up winning. If you need someone to take the blame, girl, I'll be your villain. I'll be your villain. Yeah, yeah. If it takes me losing just so you can end up winning, I'll be your villain. If it takes me losing just so you can end up winning, I'll be your villain. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'll be your villain. Yeah, yeah. I'll be your villain. I'll be your villain. Thank you.
That's another good one.
Yay.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, 2 for 2. I'm excited for
Yeah,
third
yeah.
one.
I got something special for you on the third one.
yeah, I'm excited for that one. Now, is anybody else in your family musical or just you?
So funny enough, my older brother, who's much, much older than me, my parents took a solid 12-year break. I had my brother, my sister, and then those 12 years, and then me and my 2 little brothers. Same 2 parents. You know, they were together the whole time. They just they thought they were done, and then surprise, here I am.
Oh, let's have some more.
Yeah. So then I couldn't grow up alone, so we had to, you know. Anyway, but
Of course,
my brother
I
was-
made my son grow up alone. There's 12 years between my son and his sister, but after my son, nope, done.
I repeated my parents' move. There was 15 years between my first one and my second.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah, and then another 5 years between my third and final.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, there's like a 20-year difference between the oldest and the youngest. But so anyway, my brother, yes. So he was always playing guitar around the house, and when I was little, and I thought he was super cool. And then, you know, he moved out, and then he'd come around, and when he'd come around, he'd always be playing guitar and have his like leather jacket on. And I was like, thought he was the coolest guy in the world, and thought he was the best guitar player. And so I was going to learn to play guitar to be like him. And years later, like 30 years later, we're sitting down and like, you know, we're jamming a little bit. And, you know, I was like, it's like, oh, you know, the next chord is whatever. And he's like, I don't know chords. what? He's like, I don't know the names of them. He's like, I know what they sound like. I know what they look like. I don't know the names of them. What? So I thought, grew up thinking, thinking you were like the master guitar player and knew everything about it. And then all of a sudden it was like, wait, what? So,
So he learned just by listening.
Yeah, he learned just by listening and just messing around. So that my 9-year-old, she's a solid drummer. She got a little rock and roll band called the La La Las here in Nashville, and
cute.
So she's a solid drummer, and she's like a drummer lead singer at the same time. So it's really, really impressive.
I love that. Yes, a girl drummer that is the singer too. Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm all about it. She's big into musical theater, but the rock band is a definite like second option for her. But
oh my gosh, I gotta hear this.
But even
can I hear her music, her band anywhere?
Nah, we're not ready for all that yet.
I know, but that is just so cool.
I'll put just a little 30-second clip in my stories because it disappears after a day. So just give her a little shout out, not giving anybody a chance to get weird with it. So
true.
But I'll tell you what, my 4-year-old, I've walked in several times and she's playing drums, and while it's basic, she like no one's taught her anything, but you hear her like doing pretty solid beat, and it'll last 8 or 12 bars, and then she'll kind of fall off. But she just did it from watching her big sister do it. So it's real cool. They're both very rhythmic, and they both have lovely voices. So hopefully they'll decide to do that and not a living. We'll see.
Yeah, I was going to ask you next. Would you encourage them to do it as a living, or kind of steer them away from it?
It's the same thing as when your kids play sports and like, you watch them play and just get like beat down, like the team is terrible and they just get beat up, and you're like, I know this is good for you, but
yeah,
like, I don't really relish a lifetime of watching my kids, get kicked around, and that's the musician's life. So, I think it's important to me that they learn music. That I think, especially, piano and stuff really, or anything, like with classical training, I feel like that really expands your brain. And I think people who do have that training, I think they look at the world a little differently. I think you innately understand math in a better way. I don't know, maybe that's a chicken and egg thing, but I find that like, people that I know that are musical tend to have like some kind of math thing. People that are especially like classically trained have a math thing. They're a carpenter, or they're, any number of things, an architect, or, just, whatever the case may be. So it's important to me that they learn music, but it wouldn't be my first choice for their career.
I think it's probably about, well, I don't know. I think most musicians would probably say they're not going to encourage their children to go for it because they know how much they're like you said, they're beat up, they're told no, and they're let down. But then they're going to support them. And if that's what they want to do, they'll support them, but they're secretly praying, please don't do this.
Well, I always thank my lucky that I had 3 girls and no boys. 'Cause it's like, I don't want my kids to play football. And then last weekend, a player here at Vanderbilt was a young woman. So I'm like, boy, I guess I no longer don't have to worry about my kids playing football. But of course, if they want to, then you're going to support them. Football being maybe a different situation because that can physically hurt you, not just your feelings, but also your brain. So I don't know. We'll see.
Oh yeah. I didn't know that Vanderbilt had a lady football player. I had no idea about that.
Yeah, I forget what happened to both of their kickers, and so they got a player from the Vanderbilt women's soccer team, and she's the first woman to play in a Division I football game. Yeah. And,
I am a football fanatic, so I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's like the same week that an NFL team. It was like the first time a woman had coached a position group in a game. The tight ends coach, I think for the Browns, was out, and so this, his assistant, who was a woman, was the first person to be the tight ends coach, any position coach in an NFL game. And obviously, as a girl dad, I'm all about it.
Oh yeah. Kat, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was basically gonna say, like, she played on the women's soccer team, so she's a kicker. So I don't know if, like he said, I don't know if their kicker was out. I don't know, but I was like, Sarah Fuller, like, go you.
Yeah. But I don't know if he got injured or was academically ineligible or what. I forget what the story was. That was obviously that was not the important part of the story. So I only got room for so much. I'm getting old. So pick my bullet points. So
okay, so are you a pro football fan or more college?
No, if I'm gonna watch football, it'll be pro. I'm a basketball fan. That's really
a basketball guy. That's right. You said you played basketball. Okay.
Yeah, NBA is it for me. Like March Madness is cool, but nothing beats NBA to me. Like those are the greatest athletes on the planet to me. The NBA players.
Well, March Madness is madness, like near where I live, because I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
So with Duke and Carolina and NC State, it's like in Virginia, it's literally madness around here when that time of year.
Man, when University of Kentucky comes here to play Vanderbilt, the whole city turns blue. It's the craziest thing. The UK fans, they travel.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would, as much as I love Nashville, I would have to pull for UK.
Yeah, it's UK versus Vandy. It's never a contest.
Well, I have part of my heart's in Kentucky, so there
you go.
I just have to pull for Kentucky. Got sidetracked on sports there. All right, we're going to go a little bit different direction with questions here. It's more fun stuff. Yeah. What is the scariest performance you ever had? Like in front of somebody, or you knew there was somebody big in the crowd, or I don't know. What was your scariest performance?
That's easy. So 2012, we were on tour with ZZ Top and played Chicago, and it was Rib Fest in Chicago, Naperville, Illinois. And they told us later, based on aerial photography, that when we were on stage, there was 31,000 people in front of the thing, which at the time I didn't know. I knew there was a lot of people there, but I was all about it. I was into it. But, you're the opening act and you've got this huge audience. So I want to go to the next song, go to the next song. As little talking as possible. It's a hot outdoor, festival in July. You don't want to give people a chance to get bored. That's my way of going about it anyway. So in between songs, I real quick, I've got a little like a beer holder on my mic stand. So I grab the beer, take a swig of it, and I put it down right back in the beer holder. And as I do, the Jumbotron operator, for some reason, there's huge screen on the side of the stage. He decides to push in on me, and he sees me do this, and he sees my beer foam over. So he pushes in on my beer foaming over, and 31,000 people booed me. Yeah, that was definitely the scariest moment on stage in my life. 31,000 mean Chicagoans booing me. So
because you committed alcohol abuse.
I did. So I walked out in front of the mic stand right up to the edge of the stage, and I was like, come on, let's have it. And I just stood took it for 15 seconds of solid booing. And then when I went back behind the mic, everybody cheered. And that moment when you start hearing the boos, you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? That's my biggest show of my life. And
oh, that's too funny. I love that. Oh my God. And opening for ZZ Top.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. And those guys have all the hits, but they're not the most like dynamic on stage. They don't move much. And we were nuts. At that time, we had 2 fiddle players that would like battle it out on stage. And, I was young enough where I could run across the stage and launch myself off the piano bench and come sliding across the stage on my knees. And all the like rock star moves that you can pull off when you're 30 years old or whatever. So, so that was, like that we were a rowdy show, and opening up for ZZ Top, there were a lot of people that wanted to get rowdy. Oh yeah. And because we were the only option on that night for them to get rowdy to, they got rowdy. And there was a lot of, we at that day at Ribfest, we sold every T-shirt, every CD, every hat, everything we had. We had to get somebody to put new stuff on a plane the next morning before we did Music Fest. Was it Summerfest in Milwaukee the next day? So it was crazy. Awesome. It was crazy. It was scary. It was rewarding. It was all the things, Yeah, all the things that you hope for and more. You hope to get booed. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's good. That's definitely the best one I've heard yet. So that's a good story. Mm-hmm. Do you name your guitars? No. I do. I don't. I like to think I don't get too attached, but I've really had the same group of guitars for. Those are my main guys, other than the one acoustic that I was playing for you. But nice. So I like the first one right there. That's an 08 Les Paul, and then I've got an 88 Telecaster in the middle, just worn out Bruce Springsteen style, and then the Takamine. That's my backup acoustic that I take out with me, and then the Guild that that I was playing for you today that won't stay in tune for us. That's really my main guitar, and that's the one I was playing in most of the videos that did well on CMT and all that. Cool. Yeah. I would be a person that would name mine. You're a guitar namer? Yeah, so, I would be a person to name them. Oh yeah. I mean, I named my car, so yeah.
Most women name their guitars anyways.
Yeah. It's probably more a woman thing that they name their guitars. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of dudes that I do know a couple of guys that have named theirs. Lucille and I forget what Willie's guitar is named, but it's, he's got that one that he's been playing forever. So it's not that weird. It's not that weird. Yeah, no. Yeah. So just for fun, I grabbed some records. Yeah. So it was Record Store Day again on Friday. I was very excited to see this Alice in Chains record from my childhood, Sap, had a special edition. So I'm pumped about that. Let It Bleed. Man, I keep going the wrong way. 50th anniversary edition. Some remasters there. 50th anniversary edition? Yeah, 50th anniversary was, they made a special edition for Record Store Day, which was last Friday. Yeah. One of them was last Friday. So 2 things that I've been listening to constantly lately for whatever reason. The Fugees, The Score, trying to get it in the frame there. So that one, Nashville-based band Elliott Root, this record Conjure, that's from, there we go. That's familiar. So good. Not country, but what I've been listening to. So this one was a birthday present. This one was a birthday present this year. And I think, we talked about it a little bit earlier that this was really one of the 2 records that sort of informed who I was as a songwriter to begin with, which is Elton John's Tumbleweed Connection. This was his country record. Like, this was him. He said later, this was him trying to sound like the band Music from Big Pink, which I would say is the other record. But I was very excited about this one because it came in the special edition green. That is so cool. Last but not least, somebody asked me in an interview earlier,
this week, end of last week, what record would I say was most influential in this new album, in Burning Moonlight? And I gave it a lot of thought. And since that interview's over, I want to answer that question for you. So, you know, I thought a lot about it. And, you know, when, you know, like I said, the band, Elton John, that stuff really was what I was thinking about, you know, what I was listening to, what I wanted to be like when New Hometown was being written, when 90 Proof Lullabies was being written. But with the new one, and being here in Nashville and being able to kind of be freer, because there's a bigger, everything doesn't have to be in my voice, you know, like it opens up a world of opportunities when you're writing songs.
Right.
And so I think for this record, I really, especially for the sound, because, you know, these songs could have been produced any sort of way. We could have made them super country, or, you know, we could have made them hard rock. We could, you know, done whatever. But for the sound, I think I really like dug back into some of the records that made me sure that I wanted to play music. And those records were A Different Light by the Bangles, really any of the first few Michael Jackson records, and this one right here, which is like the self-titled album by Heart from the 80s. This record, I wore so many copies of this tape out. I say this record, but so many copies of that tape out. I had to keep buying it because I couldn't stop listening to it. And a few years ago, we got to do some shows with Heart, and yeah, you know, I was like a stuttering little boy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know, not only are these women just like super talented, but you know, they're, you know, heroes of mine. So
oh my gosh, yes.
Where you meet your heroes and they didn't disappoint. So
yeah.
Anyway, little tour through record collection for the.
I love that. So, are you a big vinyl collector, or is?
So I wasn't, but then.
But you will be.
Well, I am now, because my growing up, my dad was a serviceman and a diplomat, and we lived in all these weird places. And before that, he had been a DJ. So he started off with this huge record collection, and then slowly became a hoarder, and he would buy records and buy records and buy records. And my parents have been married 52 years, but in their first 45 years,
that's awesome.
They moved 42 times. So,
oh wow.
My mom said, as they were getting ready to kind of like move to their retirement house, my mom said, we're not moving the records again. I'm not moving them one more time. So one of you kids come take these records, or I'm throwing them all in the trash. And so I went and I picked up 4,500 records from my parents, went through them. And so this is the shelf of my favorites. I know you can't see it all that well, but
yeah.
You know, there's a lot of like crazy stuff, like original edition Sam Cooke's and Beach Boys and everything else that, you know, is super, you know, super important to me now. But since getting those, I've started buying a lot of my own stuff, and, you know, just really filling in with, you know, records that were important to me growing up, like, you know, like some of those that I was showing you there.
I'm so nerdy when it comes to that kind of stuff right there. I would love to have a collection again. I wished I would have had all of my records from, you know, when I was a kid and when I was a teenager. Telling my age there, because that's what we had was records. And I remember the movement from records to cassettes to CDs. And yeah, I'm that old. So, I mean,
that was the thing with my mom, is that my dad made all of those jumps. So he had this of records that we did not have a record player when I was growing up. We just had a garage full of records. But you know, because he had tapes, and he went and bought CDs of all the, you know, all of his favorite stuff. So it wasn't like these were records that we listened to. You know, I've got little 45s of like every Richie Valens single ever. Like, you know, I mean, just like amazing stuff. Every Elvis single that's ever been released. You know, like I've got, you know, all that stuff, and it's wow, it's pretty crazy.
Wow, that's crazy. That's stuff to actually hang on to.
Oh yeah, profiting.
Your mom was like, "No, I'm tired of it. Get rid of it."
Yep. Yeah. She's like, okay, Well, it's not like he's not. Yeah, they still don't have a record player. It's not like they're listening to him now. So I think she made the right decision, if I do say so myself.
That is too funny. Kat, you infected me with saying that. Now I'm like catching myself saying it all the time.
Sorry, y'all. I don't have an office, so I'm sitting in my dining room, and my roommate walked behind me, and I was like, oh my God, I need to get a desk in my room or something. Sorry.
It's all right. When you do, I'm going to work with you on lighting. She's always like fuzzy because her lighting.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Get it together.
Pro tip,
All right.
don't live in Ashen City because that's what happens.
Yeah, I can imagine. You guys still do internet by carrier pigeon.
It's by satellite, but we are getting AT&T fiber, Ashen City and Milton, and I'm like, 2020 is saved.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I'm so glad you brought the piano over because I was hoping you were going to go that route playing.
Yeah. So whenever we're ready for the last one, we did a special. We did a special like remix or whatever you want to call it version of the newest single, the one that's got the video out right now, the one that's been on the radio lately. And we did an acoustic version for people on our email list. And started off, it was just me doing a piano version. And then I put like the most basic like hip hop loop behind it. And then I was like, it's missing something. So I called up Yanni. I'm like, hey, can you send me a slide guitar solo? And he sent me that over. And then, then I added backing vocals. And then, I was talking to Keith, the guy that produced the main single, and told him about it. He's like, oh, hey, I had this cajon track that I made for the original that we didn't get to use in the original, but I'd love somebody to use it. And so he sent me the hand drum track, and then Quinn sent me banjo and guitar, and all of a sudden we had this big, super like MTV Unplugged acoustic version. So I thought what I'd do today is just play the backing tracks for that version, and I'll play the piano and sing those parts, and you'll get sort of the semi band experience, if that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I can't wait to hear it. Yeah.
All right. And of course, computer is locked. All right. Here we are. Make sure we're all set. Are you guys ready for it? Can I do it now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. There we go. The clock keeps ticking. We keep talking. Don't know where this is headed, but I know one thing. You could be home right now. You could have checked out, went back to your couch. You could be winding down instead of losing sleep. It's a little past midnight. Must be something going on right. You're still sitting by my side, burning moonlight. We keep this thing going on and on. Your lips fit real good against my lips. It's like we're on our own island. I could spend my whole life loving you past midnight. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. The clock's still ticking. The drink's still pouring. It's getting later and later and later, but we just ignore it. You could be home right now. You could have checked out, went back to your couch. You could be winding down instead of losing sleep. It's a little past midnight. Must be something going on right. You're still sitting by my side, burning moonlight. We keep this thing going on and on. Your lips fit real good against my lips. It's like we're on our own island. I could spend my whole life loving you past midnight. Yeah. Woo! this was nothing, we wouldn't still be here. Now we wouldn't still be here. It's a little past midnight, must be something going on right. You're still sitting by my side, burning moonlight. We keep this thing going on and on. Your lips fit real good against my lips. It's like we're on our own island. I could spend my whole life loving you past midnight. Loving you past midnight. I wanna love you past midnight. Yeah.
I love that song. Love it. Love it. Now, did I catch you on the Instagram today, on the stories today, saying that each of the songs on the EP starts a story and ends a story?
Well, no, the
progression of the songs on the EP is what I meant. I said that weird.
So it's one of those things where we start with the end of the story on Villain, which is the first track, and then we flash it back to the beginning, and we start with.
Okay, so you're going backwards.
Well, it's the end, and then we start at the beginning and go through the whole story. How do we get there? So
that's cool. That's cool. I love that when and I think most artists try to have their EPs, all their songs tell a story in some way, shape, or form. Right. But I love it when it's like that, and I like that you're starting out with the end and flashing back. That's cool. It's very cinematic, but I love it when the songs on an album come together to tell a story.
Yeah.
Instead of just random songs put on there.
Yeah, me too. And it was kind of started off by accident on this one. And then I sort of, realized where the story arc sort of led, and we needed one more. And Quinn and I had written Villain, and I was like, we need an ending. And another artist on a bigger label than mine cut that song. And so we had to check and make sure. He's like, are you guys putting this out soon? Or, what's the story? And, because of COVID, they were in a holding pattern. So we're like, all right, we're putting it out. We're just going to do it. And so we brought Villain in, and that was the piece we needed to make the story whole and, bring it back, all the way full circle. And, seeing from past midnight, that one I just played is all about those first few minutes, few hours, that first time you make that connection with somebody, and then we bring it back by the end to Villain, which is it's like somebody's got to cut the cord. So that's sort of.
I love it. I love that. Well, I thank you so much for coming on, being on here with us. It has been so much fun getting to know you and hearing some songs. You've definitely got a new fan in me. I am forever going to be listening to you guys and hanging on to see what you're doing next. So,
well, thank you.
I wasn't going to speak for you. I assumed, but I wasn't going to speak for you.
I mean, that would be really crappy if I didn't.
It's like I got no choice but to like this guy.
Yeah.
All right, don't worry. I'm going to make her listen whether she likes it or not.
All right. Well, just
I don't know who Hart is, by the way.
Look, I go through this with her, with country artists.
You probably know older Hart, like Barracuda. There's no way you've watched movies in your lifetime and don't know Barracuda or Magic Man.
Have you heard of Pat Benatar?
No.
All right. On that note,
yes.
You have.
Okay. But anybody that's out there still listening,
she's such a baby. I don't mean like wah, but she's young.
Youngin, I understand.
She is a youngin. What?
Pat Benatar, is she in Hart?
No. Same era.
Yeah, like, and then Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks.
But speaking of heart, I just read that Carrie Brownstein from Portlandia wrote and is directing their movie. They're going to make a movie like the Queen movie, like Bohemian Rhapsody. So
oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and again, it's great that with it being a girl-fronted band, and that they've got a woman writing and directing, and she's super funny and smart. So I'm excited to see what she comes.
Oh yeah, that'll be amazing. Amazing. Oh Lord. All right. Well, thank you again for coming on. Loved it. Loved hearing you play. Thank you for sharing some of your record collection with us.
Absolutely. And if I can, for anybody that's out there still watching, the record comes out at midnight. The record, it's called Burning Moonlight. And you can get it to all the regular places. Please check it out. Give us a follow on Spotify and Instagram and wherever, all the places, YouTube, all that stuff. And we got a lot of new content coming out over the next couple of weeks on YouTube, especially. So make sure you check that out. And I hope you guys dig it.
For sure. Absolutely. I don't think I've pre-saved the EP, so I'm going to go do that. So it'll already be on my phone and I won't have to put it on there later. But yeah, I'm definitely going to have that one on there.
Cool. I'll send you the link when we're off air. So you don't have to go searching for it.
Awesome. Sounds great. All right. Thank you again so much. We enjoyed it completely, and stay in touch, and we'll do this again someday.
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun, y'all. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye. All right. Everybody have a good night. And we will actually be back at 8:00 Eastern time, 7:00 Central with Kane and Smith. So come back. Bye.